last month, August 2023, we seen house prices in Niagara region fall by about 5%. I want to talk to you about what this is like for people trying to sell their house in the market right now. I'm not sure if you want me to start this or if you want to take the lead.
Well, how do you mean?
Well, what's it like for sellers that are trying to sell their house right now? I can start off by, if somebody's got their house listed right now and it's been listed for anything over average days on market and it hasn't sold and the price is going down, the gap between them selling and their price of their house is getting bigger instead of smaller.
Yeah, it's the money that you probably could have got might be gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, so for me to just make up a fictitious example, if a house was listed right now for $1 million, average days on market, let's call it 30 days, give or take. If a house has been listed for 40 days at $1 million and it didn't sell, and now it's at least down by 5%, meaning a list price of $950 would be closer to reality, but that might not even mean that's the price it's going to sell at.
Yeah, I call it chasing the dragon. That's what I like to call it.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it was worth $1 million when you put it up, let's just say it started there, but you wanted to try and get a little bit more, so maybe you listed it 5% over what you should have been, try to get that extra money. Well, you going up that 5%, then the market, like you said, is down about 5%. So that time that you're listed, if it's gone down 5% and you're already too high, when you go back to where you should have, which we'll call it $1 million to make it easy and round, the market's not there anymore, right? So your chance of getting that $1 million was there 30, 40 days ago. You don't have that anymore. So now you realistically would need a 10% price reduction to get to where you should be, which is a hard pill for people to swallow.
Really,
that's
hard.
$100,000.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's more money than most people make in 1 year. Yeah, and I just want to talk about this because I think there's a lot of people out there trying to sell their house. This isn't just Niagara. This is anywhere where the market is going down and trying to figure out how to handle it. And is the problem lying on the marketing? Is it lying on the realtor's shoulders? Is it the media? Is it the seller? And I just want to, what kind of advice can we give to anybody trying to sell their house right now?
Yeah, so I think if you put your house up at the right price, it doesn't matter who lists your house. It doesn't matter how they list your house. If it's going up on MLS at the right price, your house is going to sell.
Your chances are very good.
Yeah, it's going to sell.
Yeah.
The marketing and who is representing you, that's not going to change whether it sells or not. Now, it does help you get the most, right? Because maybe if it's marketed properly, you've got a better chance of maybe you do get a second offer in on that, because we're still seeing that a little bit here and there while the market goes down.
Yeah, we just seen it on a property that we showed the other day.
Yeah.
So property sold for $50,000 over asking.
Yeah. And you also, if you have good representation, just the negotiation process as a whole is going to be better. So the marketing and the negotiation is a huge part of it, but the price is the most important, because at the right price, it doesn't matter what you do, it's at least going to sell.
Yeah.
And you're going to get the money.
Yeah.
It's just you might get a little bit less.
I know we were just talking about this, and I wanted us to jump in here and talk about it, because the number one most important thing when listing a property, like you said, whether it's with us or any brokerage or anything, is pricing it right out the gate. And when the market is sliding down, like it's funny how when the market was going up, I was saying the same thing, how important it is to price your property properly. And saying it's most important now, it's always important. I don't know.
Always, yeah.
But now when you don't price it right, like you said, you're chasing the dragon, because the market's not going to catch up to your price. And that's super frustrating for people that are going through that, like sellers. I can't imagine being a seller right now and trying to go a little bit higher because everybody wants a little bit more. And then you getting farther and farther from your goals and it's slipping away from you. Well, it's not even slipping when prices go down by 5% in a month. That's kind of almost like an avalanche.
Yeah, you're falling down that icy slope.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had we've seen it going on for the past year, right? Because after we hit our peak, a lot of those listings were really starting to come down, and everybody was still really high on the prices that we were getting because that market was just absurd, right? It was out of control. But then everybody who was listing April, May, June after that in 2022, if you're even a lick too high, you're going to lose a lot of money. And people don't really see that money that they're losing. They want to go for as much as they can, and they think, okay, if it doesn't sell, I drop it. But when the market's running away from you, you're every day past that even market average, even a week, 2 weeks, you are literally losing money, right? It's just going down.
I know, and I'm just trying to, well, as you're saying it, I'm trying to conceptualize that, and I'm thinking like somebody that's not selling their home, the growth and shrinking of equity is kind of like fictitious money. To me, I think of it like when I'm playing poker, that any money on the table is not mine until I leave, and that's kind of the same with equity. Like it doesn't really matter until you exit, right? But somebody that is trying to sell their house actively, that is money that's going off of the table because you're selling. If you've decided you're going to sell and it's going to happen and you're exiting from that and you're starting too high, that money it's depreciating.
Yeah, it's going down with you. I think the best example of this slippery slope we've had was we did have a listing, and we'll just say it was priced out for a random number. We'll say $700,000. And it should have been listed there. And it was when the market was really starting to go like turnover after the peak. And I remember they wanted it a little bit higher. So we started higher, and it took too long to correct the price and put it to where it should be. And then each drop from that, we were still behind what the market was. And it probably cost the owner of this home $50,000-$75,000 that I think that they would make if it was just up at the price that was originally recommended from the start. Yeah. Because you just can't chase it. You're going down the slope with the market. It's not like it's catching up to you. It's running away.
Ouch.
Yeah, so it's not fun seeing people lose that much money in that short of a time period.
Yeah, I don't want this to be a Debbie Downer one. I want this to be more people how they can listen to this and learn from it. So I think to summarize it, I think the first thing is trying to determine the price on your house and to get that best out of the gate before you go on the market, right? That's step number one. And you got
to trust the price that you have and where you got it from.
Yeah, that's a great point. So you got to do your homework. And to me, when I say that, I'll even dig in a little bit more, is you interview some realtors. If you're going up on the open market, interview some realtors, see what they're saying. And yeah, with the one you pick, trust what they're saying. If you're going to pick the person to represent you selling your biggest asset, you should trust what they're telling you.
Yeah, what they're saying, but also how they got there, right? You have to, if they can show you how they got to X price for your house and you can follow along and it makes sense, then it's probably good to trust it. Now, if you're getting something that's just thrown at you and you don't really have any rhyme or reason for the number, then it's a little bit harder for you to trust it. But
maybe do some more homework from there.
Yeah. Got to do your due diligence. Yeah. Just like whoever's pricing it out's got to do theirs.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point. And then from there, at this point in time, really get the price right out the gate, because if you're off and you've decided to sell, you're going to be losing money. The time is working against sellers right now, not in their favor. And how long is that going to go on for? If we had a crystal ball, we wouldn't be doing this podcast right here. We'd be probably on a beach. But that's the trend now, and it just happened. We've seen a volatile market. We've seen 2 months of big prices go down. Is that going to happen again? I don't know. The Bank of Canada held the rates where they were, but does that mean prices are going to go up? I don't know. I wish I knew.
Yeah, I think a lot of the volatility right now comes from people don't know, right? Everybody's a little bit more uncertain, whereas when the market was going batshit crazy in 2022, everybody knew it was going up. It was crazy. They felt this is the best time to get in. And when that turns over, because it's not sustainable at the rate we were increasing, right? Like going up 10, 12% in a month is just crazy.
Insanity.
So when it's going like that, people thought, oh, I guess we got to get in now, right? Everybody else is doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But then when that turns over, anybody who had to sell those properties, if you're not paying attention and doing it properly, you're going to be in some trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing that I don't know, I haven't looked at this in a few years, so I don't know what it would be like today, but listing houses about 5% over what its fair market value would be,
Mm-hmm.
your buyer pool cuts to about 30% of the 60, 70 that it would have been at the right price.
Mm-hmm.
So not only is the market running away from you, but you've also lost about half of the potential buyers for your property.
Yeah.
Just because you want to try and get that extra money, and the greed is not going to help you.
No, I don't know. I'm just thinking back. I'm playing back in my head, like I said, when the market was on fire, telling people it's so important to price your house. Because at that point, if you price your house right, that could lead you to getting way over asking price and making like more money than if you listed at where you thought it was actually going to sell at, because then you might get less than that. And now it's...
Well, one thing in 2022, like January, February, and March, even November, December of 2021, it was really common for people to be listing stuff really low.
Right.
Because the sellers of homes had so much trust that they would get the multiple offers and it's going to go over anyways. So if it's a little bit low, it doesn't matter.
Right. There's more room for error on the list price.
Which made it easier for a lot of realtors who are pricing them, and they didn't want to put in maybe a ton of effort. Just pick a low number and you know you're going to get multiple offers, and you can say that you sold it way over asking. It was easier to get seller trust with numbers then, or now, like a seller who wants to underlist is unheard of.
Yeah.
You're struggling with almost everybody to list at a price that it should be, instead of something that's too high and is sitting on the market.
Yeah.
So that's something that we lost with those multiple offers.
So just to wrap this up a little bit, anybody looking to go to market, do your homework with your realtors. Trust what they're saying when you pick the person you trust. List at the right price, because it's so important coming out the gate, and then you have your best chances of maximizing your asset versus losing some money. And then anybody that's trying to sell now, that is on the market, and they're looking at the prices going down. Now, I think these people start getting faced with the decision: do I want to sell now? Is this not the right time? And when is the right time? Because if they're looking to sell and buy in the same market, it's a wash. But who knows what else is going on in their life that they decide. And then if they decide, okay, no, we are going to sell, I think it's important to look at where they're at on days on market, talk to their realtor, and see if they think that it's the market. If it depends how long they've been on the market. If you've only been on the market 7 or 10 days, you can take a couple breaths. But if you've been on the market over 30 days right now and you haven't changed the price of your property, it's probably a good time to talk to your realtor to reevaluate where you're at.
Yeah, at least have a game plan. If you plan on listing higher than what you should, you want to at least have a game plan of how quickly you're going to bring it down, because the chances of you selling up there is very slim.
Very slim.
So hopefully you can bring it down before the market runs away from you and you're still too high.
I think this is really helpful information for anybody trying to sell their house right now. Hopefully that helps them, because it's not easy right now.
Yeah, whoever you're using to sell your house, you just have to trust them.
Yeah,
right? That's what they do.
Totally.
And if you can trust them and they put a good price together, you should be able to sell your home right now.
Yeah.
But you've got to trust who you're working with, and you, as well as whoever's selling it. There's got a lot of due diligence that has to be done in this market.
I agree. I think this was solid. Hopefully this helps a lot of people.